All right. Hi, I'm Jimmy from Superpath. Very happy today to be chatting with Haley Ho from Shopify. Haley, how are you?
I'm having a wonderful day.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. We are going to talk today about a very interesting role that you are hiring for your team, a senior content marketing manager. And we're going to dive into some of the specifics of that. But maybe first, could you just talk a little bit about Shopify? I know that's kind of like a gigantic question, given like how amazing of a company Shopify is, but like, how would you describe like where Shopify is right now?
So if I were to give the elevator pitch for what Shopify is, traditionally when people think about Shopify, they think about like helping you start your mom and pop shop on your e-commerce platform. So selling like soap for the first time or your jelly and jam shops. And it's expanded its offering to Shopify Plus, which is the arm of our business that does like the biggest merchants. You're talking your Staples, your Allbirds, your Gymsharks, and then our retail offering, which this role is going to own that audience. So we're talking about like permanent physical brick and mortar stores and all the technology that goes behind those stores. So your POS system, like your tap and chip card reader. Yeah, anything that you can think of when it comes to running a store, we're here for you.
That's interesting. So, okay. So for the brick and mortar location, Shopify, in theory, that person or that business owner could have the point of sale, and they could have an online experience through Shopify and then manage, customer data and send emails and all that good stuff.
Exactly. And it all feeds in together. It's not like you're having to upload data from one place, manage your inventory from another. It all lives under your Shopify admin.
That's cool. I love that. I feel like especially now today, like where, you know, be even pre-COVID, like this was already happening, but now anyone who's brick and mortar is also going to be online, at least in some capacity. So that's really cool. Maybe last thing before we dive into the role you're hiring for, can you talk about your role a little bit?
So I have the similar role, but for the Plus audience. And so I actually started off as the editor of the blog and like all things content when it comes to the Plus audience, your case studies, your top of funnel thought leadership stuff, like very keyword driven MoFu and BoFu content, and then our gated assets. So it was a huge undertaking.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And now I'm focusing just on the campaigns piece, which is really awesome because I get to work directly with like our go-to-market demand gen teams, with our digital teams when it comes to distribution. And we're building out full funnel strategies so that like when you're reading about the future of e-commerce, or if you're reading about selling omni-channel, there are like all these journeys that bring you to our product and bring you to a lead gen experience. So I'm helping create that on the Plus side, and I really need some help creating that for our retail audience.
Got it. And so this role, the person who takes this role will report to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about this role. So the title is Senior Content Marketing Manager Campaigns. Maybe first, like, what will this person be doing? Like, what is their day-to-day job going to look like?
The fun thing about content is it's different every day, especially like when we're in campaign season. So this person is going to work very closely with myself, very closely with the head of our demand gen team on the retail side, very closely with the product marketing team on that side, figuring out like what are the needs of the business when it comes to retail, and then also listening into the audience. So like looking at the SMBs in the space, like what are some of the external events that might affect that? What are like third party publications writing about? And like taking all of that awesome insight and then deciding, okay, here are our priority campaigns for like the next year. So we know, for example, every year we've got BFCM online. That's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's like the top selling season. And then on the brick and mortar front, like holiday starts in October and it goes all the way to the end of the year after Boxing Day. So there are some predictable campaigns that we know that will run every year. And then it's a matter of distilling from the business insight, like here is something that we want to launch and like have a full-fledged content campaign on, or like here is something that we notice that's being like everyone's talking about in the industry. Like last year, all the stores had to close because we're in a pandemic. And so what does it look like to pivot and like create campaigns that help small business owners run their physical retail stores in a more effective way?
I love that. That's really cool. Will this person be creating content at any level, or will they have, is there a team that handles that? Do you use freelancers, agencies? Like, what does that look like?
All of the above. So
Okay.
the fun thing about being a senior manager is there's a lot more strategy involved. So
Mhm.
they'll be involved in the strategy of it. If they'll be involved in the creation of it, whether it's they want to do a lot of writing and research themselves or wanting to work with a freelancer, that's available to them as well. And then we also have a couple of people on our team who are experts in the retail audience who create that content. So I mean, when we're talking about full funnel content journey, there's like I mentioned, like the thought leadership stuff, like the MoFu stuff with the keywords and stuff, and then the gated asset. So they wouldn't have to create everything on their own. We have a team that would be able to support that.
That's awesome. Is there a separate retail blog, or is it kind of merged in with kind of greater Shopify content?
We have a million blogs, but there is a separate retail blog. You can find it at shopify.com/retail.
Okay, cool. I'll link that because
Yeah.
I think it's helpful for people to like go see the very specific thing that they would be
Yeah.
contributing to.
Mhm.
What has this future person who will take this role, like what have they been up to for the past couple of years that will have prepared them to take on this role?
I'm looking for someone with content marketing experience. They don't necessarily have to have work specifically on campaigns. If you can show me that you've made data-driven decisions, like maybe you've gone into Google Analytics and you've noticed like something's generated a ton of traffic for you, but like hasn't really ended up having any goal conversions or like generated revenue for your business, like finding ways to optimize that and then bring people down the funnel across that journey. Show me that you have that kind of thinking. Show me, SEO. Show me you like really care about the audience that you write for, in whatever domain that might be, in like B2B or B2C. Trying to think if there is anything else. I think those are the things that would make someone stand out to me.
Cool. Writing samples too. And is that something you'll
Oh
look
yeah,
for?
I'll read
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, definitely. Is there like a certain type of thing, a certain place things have been published that would stand out to you?
Not necessarily. I mean, coming from I've actually gotten a lot of applicants that come from the world of journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll read those, but like I myself, my own experience comes from B2B tech. And so if you want to share clippings from your own company's blog, I'm happy to read those as well.
Cool. I love that. I love that. Is there anything I should have asked you about this role that's like unique about it that I did not ask?
I like to say like the three main reasons how I would sell this role would be: one, you're going to get to work with cross-functionally with demand gen, with go to market, with product marketing in a way that like I think is rare in some other roles. With content marketing, it's just like, oh, I need to create things for sales. So this is a very holistic role where you're going to have deep knowledge and expertise about this SMB audience. So if you come with that already, that would be really amazing. The second thing is there's so much runway on the retail team. So it's a actually fairly new arm of our business. And the way that, we've tracked the measure of success of content and like even digital campaigns, like there's so much room to grow. The technology is like still being like figured out. And so if you are stuck in a job, like not doing a lot of things, but like not seeing the impact, like we have just bring a body in and there will be like just so much sessions and leads that come from that. So we just need someone dedicated and focused on that. And the third thing is 2020 was a really rough year for small, medium-sized businesses, like having to close down in the middle of a pandemic, having to pay rent still for many of those merchants. And if you're someone who cares about helping small business owners and providing content that is actually going to be useful to that audience, Shopify is the place for you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I love that. Cool. So for folks who do want to apply, there's buttons to the side and there's one below too. And just one quick call out, there's going to be a field in there that says, I think message to the hiring manager. Say you came from Superpath, let them know you came. And in addition to that, if anyone has questions about this role, you want me to take a look at some writing samples, you want a little feedback on a cover letter or whatever, feel free to hit me up in the Slack community. I'd be happy to take a look and give you a little bit of feedback. This is a really cool role. I mean, Shopify is just such an interesting company. Obviously it's been very successful too. And like you said, like it's actually genuinely helping people. It's not one of these like just gigantic enterprise things. We don't really know what it does. Like it's clear what Shopify does. It's clear how it helps people. I think that's really cool.
Thanks so much for the plug, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thank you, Haley. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye now.